Hi there, welcome to my Amazon Kindle 3 review, my first ever video review. This is the box when it arrives. It comes with the Kindle, as it's one of its default screensavers, not what's actually on it when you get out of the box. There's a little piece of cellophane on it. A quick start guide, which folds out, gives you a brief introduction, and the full instructions are available on the machine itself. And of course there's the charger, which comes in a little box. It charges micro USB standard at that end that goes into the Amazon Kindle, and a standard USB that goes into your computer. I thought I'd compare my Sony PRS 505, so I thought I'd compare the Kindle to it for interest. They're actually incredibly very similar size. The Kindle is same height, width, screen size. The only difference really is that the Kindle has a keyboard and the Sony doesn't. In bright sunlight, actually, both machines of course fare very well with the e-ink. Sony's probably slightly lighter, but they both look pretty good. As you'll see, blazing sun, and it's very easy to read. A big disappointment with the Sony was always the time it took to turn pages, which was like a one crocodile delay. The Kindle, though gloriously, is absolutely immediate, which, having used the Sony, is a big deal. Both of them have page turn buttons on the sides, whereas Sony has them on the bottom as well. The Kindle of course has the keyboard and the little joggle switch, which instead of turning pages, jumps chapters, which was a bit of a blow to me when I thought I was first changing pages. Sony's thumb switch down there in the bottom left is very good when you're reading with one hand, because your thumb goes down the spine, you can turn pages quickly rather than using the ones on the right. The Kindle, however, the ones on the left are too high up for you to reach with your thumb, and the ones on the right are the only ones that are really practical, so you can't turn pages with your little left thumb, so you end up needing to use both hands to turn the pages, which is the only disappointment to me of the Kindle. The Sony that has 3 levels of text zoom, from small, medium and large, whereas the Kindle has 8 levels of zoom, so is much more customisable to your individual needs. Pardon the glare there, that's on the floor in the living room. The Kindle has a bar showing how much of a percentage of the book you've read, and a weird thing called location instead of page number, which apparently makes it easier to cross-reference between your friends, although I find it mildly annoying because I don't understand where I am in the book, except for the percentage. The Sony whereas have a battery-ometer at the bottom, which is useful to go to the home screen on the Kindle to find how your battery's doing, and has page numbers. It also has internal expandable storage with SD and memory card, whereas the Kindle isn't expandable, but does have a huge amount internally with 3.04 gigs. That's what it looks like when you plug it into your computer, and when you're on screen there, it shows up as a little drive with its 3.04 gigs, and has a little folder structure where you can drag documents on, otherwise you can email them to yourself where they appear within seconds. I was very impressed with that, actually. It's a great way of transferring stuff to the Kindle. This is how you go and buy books on the Kindle. You go and view the store. That's connecting on the wireless network through the mobile 3G, which, as you'll see, is quite quick really, and this is the best bit of the Kindle, buying books. You have a list you have recommended for you at the bottom there, and you can either go into the main list of all the books out there, which is hundreds of thousands, or you can go into the bestsellers list, which is on the home page there, Kindle bestsellers. And this is the greatest attribute of the Kindle as opposed to the Sony. Sony had to buy books on the Waterston store, which is very, very expensive, as I'll show in a minute by comparing web pages, whereas the Kindle books are sort of a third in price, and being able to access them, clicking on them and then having them on the machine in seconds is huge. On the Sony you had to download them to the computer, open Sony software and drag and drop them across in folders, which was a big pain. Whereas this is a delightful way. You have the users' reviews at the bottom there, you have the discount, the price, you just click buy, seconds later you've got the book on the Kindle, which is utterly, utterly brilliant, and why I bought it, and the main reason I think anyone would look at buying it if you've already got another e-reader, which of course I do. Here we go with the online stores. This is the Kindle Marketplace. You'll see books there, £2.44, 66p for a Peter James. There are more expensive ones, obviously they're newer and hardback, but the Dan Brown at some very low prices. And then if you go across to the Waterstone's one where you buy books for your Sony or your e-reader. You'll see the books are considerably more expensive, down to often more expensive than buying the books in the shop, which always used to gall me hugely, as I think, why am I not getting any hard copy and paying more for a digital copy than I would on the buy books for 3 for 20 or whatever they're going for. So this is the biggest attribute of the Kindle store. It's very good. You buy them on there and they're straight to your Kindle. Now this is a document that I emailed myself. As you can see, it's a script actually. It's quite small on the screen. So you can either zoom that in, but then it doesn't fit the screen totally. You have to select the area you view, and you like that, and then you can scroll left and right to read, which I didn't think was ideal. So I discovered that you can rotate the screen round sideways, which fits it all on nicely onto fit and makes it much easier to read. So that was quite a good attribute if you need to read your own documents on the Kindle, and the email thing worked really well. The Kindle has built-in dictionaries. This is a really fantastic feature. If you can't figure out a word, you just move the cursor down and it auto-defines at the bottom of the screen, even down to abbreviations I discovered today. So you just scroll along, find the word you don't understand, and then look down to the bottom of the screen and it defines it, which I think is brilliant. Good asset. You can also add notes or highlights to the piece, which is the same. You select that on the menu, then scroll where you want to highlight the text, click the center button, highlight what you want, and like that, so it comes out like that, and then it's filed in 2 areas on the Kindle. It comes up with a little document it creates, a text document which you can export or send with the references, and it also has a little My Notes area that has all the notes, as you will see in a second. When you view My Notes and Marks, and you'll see the little section we've highlighted with the reference location up there at the top. So that's nice if you want to cross-reference. And you can also go on the web and see what other people have highlighted from a book if that's of interest. I thought I'd also show you all of the experimental settings, which are quite interesting. Probably the least useful to me is the web browser. It's quite slow. It's obviously in black and white, so I thought when I was trying it, I'll try Wikipedia, and you'll see this is on the 3G again, not Wi-Fi, so it's using its own internal SIM card. So it plods to the site, but navigating around the site is not that easy with the little joggly switch. It's not that quick. Obviously, if you've got an iPhone or a smartphone, I would immediately use that instead. And as you'll see, so you can see how it works now. So I scroll up to the top using the cursor. You'll see it clacking around. Sorry for the wobble. I hold it in my hand and the camera. And so you go to the text bottom thing, and I thought I'll search for Mount Everest. So I typed in Mount. Well, I do type in Mount, which is not that easy with one hand again. And then a drop box comes down with the options. But it was absolutely impossible to select Mount Everest. It jumped from when I scroll down, it jumped from mountain to the bottom, and then when I push one click up, it jumped a great big chunk of the way halfway up, and then straight to the top again. So you have to tap the whole Mount Everest. So it is only experimental, and I can't see why you'd use it for web browsing, but I probably wouldn't bother, would be my advice. See, it's a little bit clunky. Next up, I'll show you the music, which is actually very good. On headphones it sounds fantastic. I'm going to play it for you out of the speakers. Click that towards music, play MP3, and there it goes. And that's sound coming out of the speakers at the back, which is where they are, but I wouldn't bother with that. I'd use the headphones, which is very good. This next feature is the speech to text, which I'll let you listen to for a minute.
Because Rusty would have explained if he'd anyone other than his wife he could trust with such disloyalty, he so often remains behind the curtain.
Now obviously this sounds better than I expected it to. I thought it'd be much worse, with kind of no intonations and a bit like a flat Stephen Hawkins, but still I think, when you get to the dialogue here with powers back on and generator dude, it's not that easy listening. But if you're interested in falling asleep on an aeroplane, I guess it might be good, but I don't think you could listen to a whole book that way. So it's an interesting feature that's interesting to play with. So that's about it. That's my review of my Kindle, and that's it with its cover on, and I wholeheartedly recommend it, and mostly because of the book downloading, and I hope it was useful to you.